Hey everybody, Dr. Fisher here. So today I am discussing energy. Who hasn't had a desire for more energy, right? Especially right now when I'm recording, at the time of recording this video, it is the winter time, or we're going into the winter time, and so it's getting dark. And so as it gets dark or as there's not as much sun, light is going to be involved in this process of having a little more energy. So I want to start by giving a couple of tips in relation to how to have a little more energy. So one of those simple little tips, especially as we go into the fall, is to have one of these little bad boys right here. So this is a 10,000 lux full spectrum light. I will oftentimes go to the gym and do once a week maybe in a full spectrum UVB bed, 6-7 minutes, not necessarily for the tanning aspect, but so that all my cells get a little bathe of light. And or, if it's available in your schedule or your budget, go to a place that has sun during the winter time. If you live here in the Northwest, that's a really good option to really continue to pump your energy up. So a couple of other simple things. We go back to the triangle of health: physical, mental, emotional, biochemical. So during the winter time, it's a little bit harder. Things are a little colder. Things don't move as much. And so it's even more important to incorporate some sort of movement into your regular and or, if possible, your daily routine. We as human beings, if we sit still for too long, it's appropriate to sit and be still and to rest. And I made a video about sleep. You can go watch that as to how to get a little bit better sleep. But to have better sleep then gives you a little more energy to then be able to go and function and do and live the life that you want to live. So in order to be able to have that energy, you need to sleep well. Another really important piece from a biochemical standpoint is to drink more water. That's a regular one that a lot of people need more of. As well as connection. Having something for you to be connected to, whether it be enjoying a vacation, doing something fun that you enjoy, connecting with family, connecting with yourself, right? Some sort of connection, something to look forward to. We as human beings, we are socially wired creatures, and so we need that connection. That's something that will give us energy in most situations, unless you're an introvert like me, where you need a few deep connections rather than tons of like we're having a Halloween party this weekend and there's lots of people coming to our Halloween party, and for me, I'm kind of like, hey, how can I avoid that Halloween party, right? I'd rather hang out with a few people. Where my wife is pumped up as an extrovert and very excited for having all those people. She's going to be replenished and have more energy by people visiting, where that's probably going to be draining for me. It's going to take me 24 hours to recover for that. So those are some simple things. Now, from a diet perspective, what you eat is going to be who you are if you digest it. That's a video for another time. I'll have another video on that. But it's really important to understand that if you're eating a bunch of sugar, if you're eating a bunch of processed foods, a bunch of processed oils, those sorts of things, it's going to fatten you up. Sugar is the fastest way to be fat. And if you're fat and or if you have lots of extra weight and or water retention and or inflammation because you've got all this processed food and or because you're not able to detox and get rid of the wastes in which our environment and the foods that you're eating and or making energy happens, and you're not eating clean enough food and you're not able to get rid of that waste, then you're not going to have the energy that you're looking for. So to eat clean and or to, just like with the cycles of the years, we have 4 different seasons, to be able to do some sort of cycling with your food and or maybe a detox once, twice a year, just like, you might feel pretty good doing a parasite cleanse once a year. Again, we'll have a video for that. And so it's really important in order for you to be able to have your energy to eat well, sleep well, drink enough water, right? Be hydrated. Now, again, like I said, the social front's really important too, to be able to connect. So constantly evolving and improving your social skills and or learning about how to connect with people also will provide you energy. And really understanding yourself and what provides you energy on an individual basis, whether or not you do well with crowds or individuals, and then continuing to feed that part of yourself, kind of like plugging your cell phone into the wall to kind of bump up the energy. That's a really important piece for having energy. Now, As a naturopathic doctor, there are a lot of supplements that I will give to people, especially with the nutrition being hard and or people being burnt out from their environment, maybe not taking care of themselves, whether it's they don't know how to take care of themselves or they had some sort of traumatic event. I do a lot of PTSD trauma work with people, and people are burnt out. So I wanted to share with you now a few of the supplements that we use in our office. So to start out with, we're going to start with some really simple basics. So one of those is going to be a B-complex. B-complex is part of the B vitamins that establish base nutrition. It gives you a little bit of energy. Now, something specific about a B-complex is it's pretty easy to take. Usually it's 1 in the morning. It makes your pee super yellow. I think it's from the B2 in here, right? It helps you kind of recognize whether or not you need a little more water, right? If you got super yellow urine from one B-complex and it's not diluted all, then that might be a reminder for you if you want to have a little more energy, not only to remember to take your B-complex, but to remember to drink more water. Now, this one needs to be taken with food. Otherwise, for some people, it can give you a little bit of an upset tummy. Now, for people who like to take liquid, right? Because I customize and have a variety of different people that come to my office, I try and provide variety. So I also have B-complex in a liquid form. I also have Cataplex B, which is going to be the whole spectrum, but more from a food-based form, right? Because my patients are different. So I want to present this to you and remind you this is not a diagnosis or treatment of anything that you currently have, but just the way in which I practice in my office. Now, a B6 B-complex, it's an additional component. So the B6 can help with detoxification. It can help with nerve regrowth. It can help with hormones. It can help with a variety of things. So this is another one that I'll use regularly in my office for little specific things like that. Now, as we go to individual herbs, one of my favorite, and maybe you've heard of it, there's a lot of hype around it, but a lot of the hype is justified. So I carry a spagirically process, meaning they process it in a special way that kind of enhances and impacts kind of the intensity energetically of how these herbs work. A line called Energetics. It's a professional brand. All my supplements are professional. They're of the highest quality, of the highest standards. They cost a little more because of it, but I know I'm going to get the best bang for my buck every time I use them. So ashwagandha is a really common, really well-known herb for that stress component, allowing your nervous system to be able to balance itself. They call it an adaptogen. So for example, if you're under high levels of stress, it'll help bring your stress hormones down. If your energy is really low and you just want straight energy, ashwagandha is an amazing herb that helps bump that up. So this is one that I will use very, very regularly my own self on a consistent basis because I like to push myself. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about something called a glandular, right? So for short periods of time, we give the body something called, or we give a gland. So you in your body have glands that help you deal with stress and help you produce energy of a variety of different ways. But this one's your adrenal glands. So they're little pyramid-shaped little gland that sit on top of your kidneys that help you with your stress response. So for short periods of time, we don't like to give the body stuff that maybe shuts down your own body's systems. So this glandular is here to provide you with periods of energy to kind of lift you up and support you and sustain you maybe over a 1 to 3 month time frame. And this one's great. So, for really sensitive people, oftentimes I'll give them like 1 to 3 in the morning. Myself, like I've traveled overnight from Portland to Chicago, and me and a buddy ate an entire 90 tablets in a 24-hour, 26, 48-hour drive. I can't remember exactly how long it is, but we literally ate the whole entire bottle. And I have been known for short stints when I push myself really, really hard. Sometimes I'll do like 10 of these in a day. Now, you want to avoid, if you're going to do something like this, you want to avoid taking them after 3 o'clock because these will keep you up at night because this is going to push your body. So we want you to sleep at night so you can have energy the next day. Now, another one that I use on a very consistent basis for people is something called Adrenal. This one's great because it's got a little bit of the adrenal desiccated in it, that glandular piece we just talked about, but it's also got some nutritional and some herbs. It's a great combination remedy. If for a person who's kind of stressed and maybe has a little anxiety, needs a little bump in energy, but we're not pushing too hard. And then the combination of everything means that they can, generally speaking, use it for a longer period of time. Like, I got 3 kids, right? My youngest is 6, my oldest is 14. They're very active and they're social and we're going all the time, as well as running a business. This is one that I take every day, right? So for me, the dose that I typically take, I'll usually take 3 in the morning and probably about 3 after lunch. Now, the typical dose is only 2, so you can tell how much I like to push myself there. So another one that's more of a whole food form that's similar to the Adrenal, but I use it very specifically for patients who I don't necessarily want to push them as hard maybe with the Adrenal, but we're looking for that rebuilding piece over time, is going to be Adrenamine. It's one of my go-tos for just rebuilding a person. It's not going to be pushy. It's really gentle. It's lifting. It's supportive. And we build. I put people on this one for 6, 12, 18 months, 24 months. And this one just, gives vigor back into a person over time. Now, another thing that takes away from energy on a really consistent basis is blood sugar being imbalanced, especially if your diet's not clean and you're having a hard time eating appropriately, and for whatever reason, your systems are not functioning. I use a blood sugar support to manage and balance the blood sugar, along with, three solid meals a day and some variations of that. I customize those diet plans in the office with specific patients, but blood sugar support's a really good one if your blood sugar's all over the place. Now, another one that's very foundational that I'll use either in conjunction with or in, kind of in tandem with the BComplex is a multivitamin. Now, I carry 2 high-quality, high-end multivitamins. This is not one of your Centrum Silvers. The running joke with the Centrum Silvers, or some of those really cheap vitamins that you get, the synthetic ones, is if you go and you talk to the person who does the porta potties, right? You can oftentimes see those supplements. You can even see the brand name that's on them if they're not very absorbable, right? They've just run through the person. So these ones, the ones that I carry, super absorbable. Again, a little more spendy, but they're also of the highest quality, sustainable nutrients and herbs, antioxidants. I know I'm going to get a good kick as a solid baseline. This is one of those things that provides energy long-term and supports all the bodily systems. So then we're going to delve into the homeopathic version, right? So I do a variety of different nutritional, herbal supplements, as well as we do energy work here too, or we use some energetic supplements. So one of the combination brands that I use specifically that really helps, again, that energetic brand that had the ashwagandha, is something called Adaptopath. So Adaptopath is really great. Let me read this to you. It says, it's a homeopathic, so it's gentle. So babies, 90-year-old people can take it. It's for low energy, sluggish digestion, and muscle weakness. I have a lot of patients who come into me. Energy is one of their chief complaints. And so this is a really good, gentle way to kind of energetically get the system back online and have things working again. Now, the next one is going to be, oftentimes energy is related to, or not having enough energy is related to hormones being off for a variety of reasons. Now, one of the formulas that I carry and I work with and I give to men on a regular basis, and I've taken this one myself too, because I love muscular aspects of myself, so I'm into bodybuilding a little bit. So I've taken in, where I currently take the testosterone formula. It's one that helps with sex drive, it helps with energy, it helps with that vigor in a man, but not in a pushy way like straight testosterone would, right? Because that's going to provide that energy. Now, a precursor to testosterone that I will oftentimes give to men and or to women is a supplement called DHEA. It is a precursor to progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. So when given to a man or a woman, it can help with the precursor to those hormones. It's oftentimes in the literature referred to as a youth supplement, right? So it keeps you young, keeps you vigorous. The only thing is you got to be careful if you're a woman. If you take too much of this too consistently, it can increase your testosterone too much, where you start getting black hairs on your face, for example. And for men, it can create gynecomastia if you push too much, meaning men with breasts, if you do too hard of the DHEA. But usually I do pretty solid, reasonable doses, and that's not an issue. So, and then, for those rare cases where somebody is just so drastically fatigued and really messed up, one of the ones that I kind of saved for really special, really sensitive, really rough cases is something called Total Gland Plus. And this one specifically covers and has all the different glands in the body. And this one is for a person who just needs hand-holding everywhere. And they need that support, and we'll put them on it over time. And that one gives a nice boost of energy. So I hope you've enjoyed our discussion today on different forms and fashions of ways to gain energy. And I hope to chat with you again. This is Dr. Fisher signing out.